Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. You're watching Ideal Mind Media Radio and Television. Thank you. We have this special show today to discuss much about those issues that we know are plaguing the country, Cameroon and Ambazonia. So today we are going to be talking about that and see how it can be resolved. Okay, who can? Because we have realized that for the past 9 years, 8 to 9 years, the government of Cameroon is not ready to resolve the crisis and the ongoing war. So we are hoping, there's no optimism in hoping that the new administration, if that be the case, can resolve the problem. Now, we're going to be looking at some of these leaders who promise to be president. When they become president, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But we're going to look at their own point of views when it comes to resolving the Southern Cameroon War of Independence and how they can resolve this issue when they come to power. We'll be right back. Southern Cameroon has been in war for quite some time. And we have seen different types of motions, different types of crises. Yeah, so we have seen different types of issues happening, but today we want to talk about the main issue that is plaguing the war to end. Why is the government of Cameroon don't want to resolve the problem? Why is it an issue? Okay, why is the Cameroon government is not ready to resolve the problem? Okay. So we'll work on that today, okay? And now for Akeremuna faces an uphill battle, an uphill task. Can he be the one to bring that change? Can he be the one that can be the person that can be chosen to bring that change and that can resolve the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia problem? That is a question that we're asking. But the fact that he is an Anglophone, he faces an uphill battle. Okay, he faces an uphill battle. But these are some of the proposals that he made. He suggested that when he comes to power, he can help to put in place to solve the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia issue. Okay, he said first thing that he's gonna do is to have direct negotiation process. Okay, he's gonna go for direct negotiation with the Southern Cameroon leadership and to make sure that he resolve the problem amicably, because we have seen that the Biya regime does not want to go into negotiation. Okay, they have realized that any negotiation process to them is a failure, or to them is that they are weak. But they still don't understand that normally negotiation is the start of peace. Okay, to them negotiation means weakness. To them negotiation means that they have given up their sovereignty or whatever they think they are thinking. But for what we know, negotiation start from somewhere. Okay, and it might take years. Okay, negotiation is not something of 2 months, 1 month, 3 months. Okay, it's something that starts and is going bit by bit to bring that change. Okay, and if the La Republic government think that negotiation shows weakness on their part, so they prefer using the military option, that is the problem that has caused this crisis to be stalled for the past years. Okay, and we have heard series of narratives out there about what people think and what people trying to. Okay, now if Akeremuna says he will have direct dialogue with the Ambazonian leaders, and he promised to initiate unconditional talks with the Ambazonian leaders, including those currently in prison or in exile, that he emphasizes that the lasting peace can only be achieved through dialogue, not military force. That is what we have been saying all along about that. Okay. Number 2, Akeremuna promised that he advocates for restructuring of the Cameroon state, either through federalism or a deeply centralized system to give Anglophone regions real control over local governance, education, and judiciary. That's also another promise from Akeremuna, that he wants broader control or federalism. Okay, that is what he is promising. And number 3, promise from Akeremuna, that he pledged to grant amnesty to all non-violent political detainees linked to the Anglophone struggle, restoring freedom to those jailed for demanding reform or expressing dissent. Those jailed for. So that's another something that Akeremuna plans to do. He said if he's elected president, those are some of his. He also said that he commits to ending impunity by launching independent investigation into the war crimes and abuses committed by both state forces and armed groups, ensuring justice for victims and rebuilding international trust. Number 5, he said post-war reconstruction and reconciliation. So he promised to launch a national reconciliation and commission, reconciliation commission, and invest in rebuilding infrastructure, schools, hospitals, and local economies in the conflict-hit regions of southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, with a focus on healing and reintegration. Those are what Muna plans to do. Okay, he has some big vision. Okay, but if you think of the opinion of people, what people are talking about, okay, they look at Akeremuna as old. They say he's 72. Okay, so he faces a lot of difficulty. Okay, he faces a lot of difficulty, and when we see the difficulty that Anglophones or Southern Cameroonians, when we see the difficulty that Southern Cameroonians have faced, when like Frundi, before we had the Muna, and also we had we had Frundi, we had Muna, who have tried to be run for president, right? And even Foncha was also betrayed, okay? But those are history. We are looking at the future now. Can that mentality change, or can the people understand that an Anglophone president can bring some transformation? That we are looking at all those angles. Okay, there can be a possibility. There can be something like that. But most people say that the Bia's regime is deeply entrenched, but not unbreakable. Okay, many people think that while Paul Bia's 42 years grip on power has created a near impenetrable political structure, it is not immune to change. Okay, citizens express hope, often rooted in faith that transformation is still possible. It is difficult to remove, but not impossible. People are still hoping that they can be, if Muna is okay. If Muna is made to become president, there can be some hope, some transformation. Okay, but there are so many divergent opinion coming from that end. But it's up to what transform after the elections. Okay, and they talk about his age. That a significant portion of the public look at Muna's age, and they said, he's really old. That at 72, they seem too old to connect with the youths and bring some new energy. We've seen in other countries where this new energy has sprung from Niger to Burkina Faso, Senegal, and this other country with Chad, and there's a possibility of some other countries to bringing in young, energetic presidents. Okay, so they are looking at all these angles, and you see, why must an old man rule? Always old people. That's the question people are asking. Why? Why is it only old people? The youth are always questioning. Okay. They are not giving that representation, okay, as they say. The other opinion are also that of the Anglophone representation is still symbolic, not transformative. Okay, some argue that having an Anglophone prime minister has not improved conditions in English-speaking region. Symbolic inclusion is seen as part of Bia's strategy without any real power transfer. The PM is Anglophone, but come and see our roads. That is a very strong point of some people who say that. But if Anglophone has been given prime minister, of recent you saw the prime minister went there, and there was no hope. Okay, and if you see what happened to Frundi, then you can understand what some opinion are. Okay, I want you to listen to Harriet. She is a writer, she is an activist. To listen and see her own opinion. Okay, take a listen.
Mitterrand avait dit un anglo-saxon à Yaoundé jamais. Et donc, quand le chairman est donc en prison, la femme qui était consul, elle envoie me chercher. Et elle me dit, tu sais, depuis la coordination, tu es un peu la confidente de toute l'opposition. Et surtout, tu es l'ami de John. Il l'appelait comme ça. Donc, Frances me dit que bon, on va te donner une voiture banalisée. Tu vas dire à John qu'on a négocié. Washington et Paris ont négocié pour qu'il soit vice-président. Nous avons besoin de lui. Mais les Français ne peuvent pas accepter qu'il remporte la victoire. Et puis tu lui dis que nous, les États-Unis, on pense qu'il vaut mieux qu'il soit à côté du pouvoir pour lire prendre connaissance des dossiers. Ah, avec Frundi, c'était la bagarre. Il me dit que, mais pourquoi Française t'envoie? Elle a essayé de me convaincre, mais je ne pouvais pas accepter. Je ne pouvais pas accepter. Et donc, pour vous dire en un mot que on a gagné l'élection de 92, les pays occidentaux savaient tous que Frundi avait gagné. Et ça, on saura après que...
92, avant la pub, hein, on sera cool sur la question. En 92, vous êtes au RDPC.
Oui.
Dites-nous la vérité aujourd'hui. Qui avait gagné l'élection de 92?
Frundi. Et qui a triché, nous?
Parmi lesquels vous?
Oui.
Donc
Vous-même?
Moi, je crois que j'étais même l'instigateur. Vous savez la question qui s'est posée?
Laquelle?
On a constaté que Biya avait perdu. Et il s'est posé un véritable dilemme. Nous étions... Je peux citer les morts, mais j'ai peur que les vivants craignent. Nous étions au centre, Fauchivé, à Kamifou, à Madouali, Izemeka, Papa Achou, Achidi Achou.
Achille Achou, oui.
Achidi Achou. Et j'avais dans mon équipe 0 mort et Henri Bandelo pour la communication. On a constaté que Biya avait perdu. Et je vous assure...
Dans tout le Cameroun ou seulement à l'ouest ou ailleurs? Au nord-ouest.
Il avait perdu partout. Il avait perdu partout.
Sur le plan général?
Sur le plan général. Dans tout cas, Frundi avait gagné. Alors, il s'est posé un véritable problème. Et c'était là où la conscience de chacun était appelée. Est-ce qu'on va laisser Frundi gouverner ce pays? Première question à tout le monde. Non.
That is, I just brought this excerpt for you to understand what transpired under Frundi. Okay, how Frundi won elections twice, but he couldn't be given the presidency. So why am I bringing this? For you to understand that Muna should understand that what he faces, even OZ, all these guys who say they want to be president, they faces an uphill battle. That is, they should understand that because it's not easy. I know Muna has a lot. Muna say that failure to address the Anglophone crisis is disqualifying. Okay, somehow people are saying that he is not that all along this time he remained inactive for not taking any action, because you cannot really wait when you are president. Okay, you have to start helping to resolve problem as an opposition leader. Okay, the same thing that Frundi was made to be silent all along when the crisis started. Okay, they tried to silence Frundi all along because we understand that he's STF claimed to be federalists. They say they're out for federation or whatever. But there is an ongoing crisis. You take side. Okay, how can you take side if you want to be someone who can resolve a problem? You cannot come and take side. You have to come as a mediator to resolve the problem. Because once you take side, the other side will not trust you. When you take one side, the other side will not trust you to come and be a mediator or to be someone that can resolve the problem, right? That is the problem, okay? And look at the failure to address this Anglophone crisis has made many people said, okay. The fact that we see this historical distrust of elite families and political dynasties like the Munas is also a very questioning aspect, that the Anglophones, Ambazonians don't trust the Muna because of the historical distrust. Okay, when it comes to these families, okay, some we are looking at the Akere Muna to the family, right? The Fonchas and the Munas, who are seen as complicit in Anglophone marginalization and casting doubt on their sincerity or effectiveness. So the Munas are known for the predicament that we are here today. So can he be trusted in the first place? Those are arguments that we have to bring forth to see if he claimed, because we cannot just say father is like son or son is like father, right? We are seeing him coming, say he want to resolve the problem, right? But he said he will call for opposition unity and coalition building. Each opposition, they don't want to come under any coalition. How do you want to challenge Paul Biya if you don't want to come under any coalition to challenge Paul Biya? Okay, so many believe change is only possible through a strong, a united opposition, because if you go alone, like they have been doing solo, you have like 50 opposition presidential candidates. Then how do you want to win Paul Biya? The guy that stands there. Okay, the fact that the opposition is fragmented, it causes a very major weakness. Okay, that is a problem. If there's no coalition, how do you want to really come out with something? Okay, it will be difficult. Okay, then look at the side of tribalism too, that undermines meritocracy. Okay, you can merit it, but a commonly cited obstacle is tribal and voting behavior, which Biya has masterfully manipulated through patronage networks. Okay, since citizens don't vote competence anymore, they vote their tribes. Okay, and if Akaremuna can go through this hurdle, then that'll be fine. But even KAMTO also faces the same thing too. Okay, but that's one of the skepticism about the democratic process in Cameroon election, where there is no competency. That people don't vote for competence. Okay, people are really, apart from tribalism, the skepticism of the democratic process. Okay, that a prevalent sentiment is that that elections in Cameroon are not free and fair, right? People just know that the CPJ is still going to win. Okay, many believe in a new president. Many believe a new president cannot be elected through the ballot box due to corruption and electoral fraud. Okay, and it has caused what we call voter apathy. Voter apathy means people have lost trust in the free and fair elections. They don't believe that elections can give them what they need or what they voted for. Okay, and there's many opinion about Akaremuna's candidacy that has really sprung from the fact that he doesn't seem to be Anglophone in that matter. He is more of Francophone. That's what people are saying. And it has caused the desire for radical or revolutionary change. People see Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, all these countries that they had to take it by force and say, okay, if it doesn't happen this way, it can happen this way. Okay, and a minority believe that only a coup or a military rule can reset the system, reflecting deep frustration with decades of stagnation. Okay, and they talk about what happened in Burkina Faso can repeat in Cameroon. But look at the generational shift that we see, that the youth demand for fresh leadership. They talk about Muna's age and all that. Okay, many young Cameroonians demand leaders closer to their age who understand their struggles and dreams. They want new blood, okay, not recycled political actors. Okay, the fact that Munas, the family, and the Munas, the Fonchas, the Endelis, and all those people are just tired of those recycling names and father to son relationship. Okay, now let's look at KAMTO. KAMTO has been someone very symbolic in the Francophone side of things, who they believe can, at least majority of the Francophone people believe KAMTO can bring change. But I want to focus on what he plans to do when he comes to office to resolve the ongoing war going on in southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. KAMTO, before, KAMTO has been criticized for some aspect, right? When he visited America and visited Canada, KAMTO did not meet with the Ambazonian leaders that he promised to meet. That was a red flag in the first place. Okay. Another aspect is that KAMTO is still very, very. First of all, he doesn't want to lose face with his voters in the Francophone area. Then they know that he is the most prominent, strong person that can win Pobia. Okay, but look at his plans to resolve the Anglophone crisis. He talk about genuine national dialogue. Okay, the genuine national dialogue that he's saying is not negotiation. Okay, and that is a problem with KAMTO, because he's not bringing any. If he's not bringing anything new. Okay, when you say genuine national dialogue, the Grand National Dialogue was held in Yaoundé. What did he bring? Okay, the BR regime brought his CPGM allies to come and sit there, and they manipulated the people. They said this is a Grand National Dialogue to resolve the Anglophone crisis or the Ambazonian War of Independence. Did what came out from that, has it been implemented after almost 4 years after the Grand National Dialogue ended? No one single thing has been implemented. The House of Chief, the House of okay, now instead of the House of Chief, we have the Northwest House of Chief, the Southwest House of Chief, which are been separated. It means that they work in solo. What the Northwest House of Chief does, the Southwest House of Chief does not know. So it has made now they have separated them in the usual divide and rule tactics. The divide and rule tactics has been used by the BR government for long. Is that solving the problem? I don't think so. That is not solving the problem. Okay? It's not solving the problem. The corrupt nature of the BR regime, we are still going through that. Now, number one thing that KAMTO say he can do for the Anglophone problem, the number one is say genuine dialogue. KAMTO has consistently called for inclusive and sincere dialogue with all stakeholders, including the Ambazonian leaders and civil society from the Anglophone region. He rejects the government tokenistic approach and emphasizes that only a transparent negotiation process can lead to lasting peace. If he only means it, because national dialogue, what happened in the Grand National Dialogue, if it repeats itself, it's not going to resolve the problem. Okay, so if KAMTO know what he's saying, let him not mean to bring. When he say transparent negotiation process, it should be transparent negotiation process. Okay. Number two, he said release of political prisoners. The fact that BR still keeps political prisoners, but he's rushing to go and try to do negotiation. How do you hold Grand? None of this has been mentioned in the manifesto of the failed Grand National Dialogue, right? The release of political prisoners. You have people in your prison in Yaoundé, Kondengi, but you're holding dialogue. You're holding Grand National Dialogue in their backyard, but you're not calling them to come and say something. How do you want to solve the problem? You have given them life imprisonment. You have given this, despite the international community calling for you to release them, You don't head to that. Okay, you keep them in Kondengi. Okay, they are political prisoners. You don't treat political prisoners like regular criminals. Okay, they have a federal status of prison that they have to stay, but in federal prison. It's because you guys don't respect federal system. These are state prisoners who have a different status. You don't mistreat them the way you bundle them from Nigeria, the Naira 10, bundle the Taraba 39 from Nigeria, and squeeze them in a, and took them to Cameroon. That's not how you treat political prisoners. They are not criminals. They are just their opinion. Their political opinion is different from yours. Okay. Now, KAMTO says he promises that to release his political prisoners, he has promised to release all Anglophone activists and political prisoners unjustly detained. I like that word, unjustly detained, okay, in connection with the crisis, including those facing military tribunals. Okay, you know, Cameroon government has brought in the issue of terrorism law. Anybody that opposes the government is being jailed through the terrorism law. It means you are not even going through the normal civilian courts. You're going through the military court. That's what they call the military tribunals. KAMTO believes this is a crucial step forward, reconciliation and confidence building. That's what he promises. So hopefully he can do that. But he faces an uphill battle too. Okay, first of all, going into as the president of Cameroon is not easy. First of all, he faces a lot of obstacles from other opposition and the CPGM party itself. You know, they are first of all saying that he's not first qualified to be president. You see, so it's not an easy battle for him to just say, "I'll be president." Okay. Number 3, he talked about constitutional and institutional reform. KAMTO promises a restructured state, okay, possibly through federalism or deep decentralization. I think this is similar to what Akere Muna is promising, to ensure that the Anglophone regions have genuine autonomy, okay, in managing their legal, educational, cultural affairs, thus preserving their historical identity. I mean, in a federal system, there's no question about you not allowing people to manage their resources, the federation in America is like the federation in Nigeria. Okay, the federation in other countries, the federation in Canada, where you have the Quebec, which is the French-speaking part, the minority, then you have the Greater Canada. They have a constitutional arrangement that they understand that this area is English. You cannot come and impose your French language, your French everything there. No. The Quebec has their own government, they have their own Senate, their own parliament. Okay. But they are part of Canada. Okay. They run their things. Okay. Number 4, KAMTO said that justice for victims and accountability. Yes, of course. That is very important. When you come in power, you have to see that what he pledged is hold perpetrators accountable for human rights violations, both state and non-state actors. So this includes the establishment of independent investigations, including extrajudicial killing, torture, and displacement. That's what KAMTO promises. Okay, then the 5th part for resolving the Anglophone Southern Cameroon problem is that KAMTO promises a massive investment program to rebuild the devastated Anglophone region. His plans include rebuilding schools, hospitals, roads, and local economies, especially to support displaced population and returning refugees. Okay, this is what KAMTO has promised. He has really made it clear that if I am elected president, my first outing will be to go to visit these devastated areas in southern Cameroon regions to deliver a message of peace, okay, For years, the blood has been spilled, homes destroyed, families torn apart in the southern Cameroon regions. Now, KAMTO, the leader of the MRC, he promised, pledging that he wants to bring peace as his top priority if elected president. Let's take a listen of the nature, but these are things that happen in that country, but there's need for change. The fact that corruption has entrenched into the nooks and crannies of Cameroon is really disheartening. So if there's need for change, people will embrace it for the good. Because the Cameroon we knew yesterday is not the Cameroon that we see today. There is corruption, there is poverty, there is economic crisis going on. And now there is the war going on. That is depleting the economy. Okay. It's sad, but that's what is going on. Okay. It's something that you have to understand. Take a listen to this ex-commissioner who was working with the police judiciaire.
Quel droit de réserve? Droit de réserve? Vous me parlez de droit de réserve? Alors que nos enfants sont en train d'être détruits au Cameroun? Attendez, est-ce que vous êtes au courant qu'il y a moins d'un mois, que dans le propre département de Paul Biya, un enfant de 12 ans a été violé par le responsable de l'élection de la zone. Il a été, c'est de la présidence. La gendarmerie a arrêté le monsieur de plus de 45 ans. Il a été, c'est de la présidence qu'on a appelé pour qu'on libère le monsieur. Est-ce que vous pensez, est-ce que vous avez un seul instant pensé à l'avenir de cet enfant? Cet enfant est détruit. Et il s'agit de 100 à 100 000 le département de Paul Biya. Vous allez me dire que Paul Biya n'est pas au courant?
Certainement pas.
Et puis, vous croyez, vous me parlez de droit de réserve, M. Moda. Quand nous serons vieux, vous pensez que je serai ravi de voir mes petits-enfants venir avec le derrière détruit? Vous pensez que c'est possible? Les Camerounais ne connaissent pas leur pays. Il faut leur parler, il faut leur dire que nous sommes en train de partir à la perdition. Notre pays est presque à l'agonie et ça ne peut pas aller. Réserve ou pas réserve, à l'heure actuelle où je vous parle.
Wow. It's just touching revelations there from former police worker who was the commissioner. You know, these are revelations that when you listen, you say, no, that country is just corrupt. Okay. It's just corrupt. And we are seeing that when you have people like Moja, who fought for this country, fought for the government, and you hear that he has been dethroned while in prison, okay, that's when you know that this is Moja. You see, that's Moja. He has been dethroned by this new chief, and he's still in prison, okay. But Moja is one of those of those guys who fought for, you know, Chief Munasawa. Chief Munasawa has replaced Chief Ewomed Eko, Moja, okay. That has been dethroned, and that's what we know now, okay. But it's just an example of what we have been saying here, right? That you can, no matter how hard you work for this government of Cameroon, you are nothing to them. You are just one of those people that can be dethroned or that can be used and dumped, okay? And many of our brothers who have been so hardworking in this government, if they can put somebody like Inoni, former prime minister, in prison, then who is Moja? I always tell Moja this nonsense. He's going around making all that thing, going around doing this. I say the government of Cameroon does not respect any chief. If they respected a chief, they will not ask our chiefs to go and be marching. While in the Western province, the small guy there who is a chief or whether it's a phone or whatever, I saw that video. I think it's in Chang. The small guy there is hail coming to the 20th May Boulevard, but they ask all our chiefs in Fako to go and be marching. No respect for them. You see the difference? Why they are hailing their chiefs that are coming to the field, or they are glad, or but our chiefs should go and be marching. I don't care whether you're first class, second class, or whatever chief. A chief is a chief, and they must give that same respect to whoever deserves it. Okay, that's it. So replacing Moja did not come as a surprise. He has given all his powers to these people. He's a military. He wanted to gain more fame by killing his own people, mistreating his own people. Bewus told him that the people that you mistreat, the last people should be a community. Yeah, the last people, it should be your own people. Because your people will be the one to defend you when you are in trouble. The enemy will not defend you. The enemy instead see you as a betrayer, as a betrayer person. And they will not come to your help. They will betray you and dump you. And at the end of the day, your people will be the one to help you. He's now in Kondengi there. That same people that he made to be arrested, they are the one helping him now in Kondengi to eat. I heard about that when, the same Ambazonians and Southern Cameroonian that he has been made to send to jail. Isn't he now with them in Kondengi, eating in the same pot? Okay, so those are lessons learned. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank God for everything, and we'll keep everything to make sure that we see peace and long term for the people of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. Thank you all for listening.
Villages torn, caught in the crossfire. Firing arms echo a deadly desire. Innocent lives caught in the midst, fleeing homes with no